Hello, everyone. You have reached Boond podcast. So, today I am here to engage with a strong, self reliant lady who is a mother, an entrepreneur, a teacher, or perhaps we should say a French language expert, and now a writer. Let's welcome Seema Jain and learn more about her and her most recent published book, Virtual Reveries. Bonjour, Seema. Welcome to Bunde podcast.
Bonjour, ça va, Vishaka? That introduction was quite a mouthful. Even I think I need a cup of coffee to settle it in me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Let me tell you. अभी जो मैंने bonjour बोला ऑडियंस के लिए सो दैट्स फ्रेंच मैंने अभी अभी थोड़ा सा सीखा था आई जस्ट लर्न इट बिफोर द शो to impress our guest. And that's all I know about French right now. So let's not, mess with the master of French and let's continue in English. Yeah, all right.
No, but I would rather say it's always good to mess the things up, and with the mess, you get to learn, right? That's my always been my principle and idea of like learning. Unless and until you create a mess, how will you learn to clear the things?
Correct. All right, Seema, let's start with briefly describing your journey, which you began as an entrepreneur, being a super mother of two, and later expanded to include writing at present. So, over to you, Seema.
Okay, so that will take me to a huge, long history, but I would cut it short, and I would rather just say that I'm a simple person who just have, challenges coming their way. Everybody faces their challenges of life, and what I do is I just take them with positive. I try to take them with positive spirit and try to overcome them and like to share with others. So, not a writer by trade. I mean, like, I have never thought that I'll be an author one day. But yes, with my, experiences of life, language being my passion. So, whether it's English, French, or Hindi, I've been always like, playing with words. So, when I come across, like, I love nature and I'm passionate about French. And I love to, play with words, as I just mentioned. So, in situations and circumstances, I try to bring up, like, I start thinking in words, and they sometimes rhyme. And when they start rhyming, I just pick a book and I start writing. So, this is how my poetry, uh, came into existence. Being a mother of two, yes, it was a beautiful phase of my life, and they only have been my inspiration, my kids, and in fact, I started writing after my second child, my son was born, because there was a lot to share with the world, and to share with women actually, that how we come across different phases of life, and how important it is to take each phase in a positive manner. So, that is that.
All right. So, Seema, I would like to know what really inspired you to write these poems, the book.
Well, that's my third baby actually barking at the back. Uh, so what inspired that's exactly what I mentioned just now, that I just like playing with words, and I never wanted to write. Uh, it was like my this is the Virtual Reveries being my third book. Uh, I would say, because my first book is still in the process.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a project that would probably end uh, uh, when I'll be able to conclude the sense of a womanhood. What the purpose of a woman, in like, of an aspiring woman, especially because that book is named "Woman with Aspirations," and that's what, like, my whole journey. Not it's I would not call it an autobiography, because it was a mix of like, looking into my experiences along with other experiences. I try to create something where I can help others, that can become guidelines for others to like what to do and what not to do in life. As like if you aspire to be something like, to avoid the negativities in our life, basically. So that is my first book, which is yet in the making. Second being my like the French book, which I was forced by my students. So I used to give interesting, examples to my students, like by creating my weird ideas and mind mapping it to them for like, to understand or to learn something. So one of my student just piped up this to in my head, like, ma'am, why don't you consolidate these ideas and make a book?
Uh-huh.
And without thinking twice, I put my head in the mortar and was pestered by my students every now and then, being nudged by, like, ma'am, when is the book releasing? When is the book releasing? So, and it took me 7 years. It took me 7 years to complete my that book, and it was quite it got a good feedback, not only from the students but also from the teachers, who made good use of it, and they could incredibly find it useful to in their because the most daunting task in French is to uh, uh, differentiate between the genders of noun, like masculine or feminine, because the whole grammar is based on that. So I worked on it, and in fact, I ran a international competition during the lockdown, especially, so that learning process doesn't stop for my French students, at least. And we made it an international competition, and that was also quite like, being taken by
Mhm.
in a good spirit by students, and we had a good time. That was based on this book itself. And finally, as an, I would say, and so that book actually made me an author. And finally, this book of poems, it's actually as and when I encountered with like situations and circumstances and being flowed by words in my head, I used, and as I mentioned, that I just used to pick up pen and paper and start writing. And so I used to just create, and some of the poems I created for my kids for the school projects, in fact. And then I wanted to actually create a, legacy for my students to, for my kids, my own kids, so that they feel that, okay, what mom has experienced in her life, it's this is it. And so that they can pick something from their that experience, and for them to have a successful life. Every parents feels so. So but I did not know that this will be liked by many, and it's doing good job now. That is how it happened.
That's great. That's great. So, Seema, my next question is, how did you come up with the title of the book, Virtual Reveries?
Okay, so virtual, it's a blend of virtual and you can say digital and mystical, expressions. So we nowadays, as we all are like, existing in a digital world, but our emotions, our expressions, our dreams, they
Mm-hmm.
lie in some, space which is abstract, which is like non-tangible. So I tried. I thought over it that all those expressions of mine that are in the dreams or in my head as an imagination, I'm putting them in digital form now. So that's how I came up with this name, Virtual Reveries.
Lovely. Okay, so do you have any personal favorite poem from the collection? Would you like to share with us?
Well, it's like asking a mom, a mother, that which child do you like the most? So they are all
Favorite
my
child?
babies, yeah,
Yeah.
they're all my babies. But
Mhm.
since the moms always have a soft corner for the youngest one, believing that he still needs us, or he or she still needs us. So
Mhm.
for me, my youngest kid in all the poems is the fortitude of sand,
Mhm.
where it shows, and it's actually a kind of remembrance for me. It's like it reminds me all the time that how with every storm I have to face and I have to overcome. So like we build castles, so it is based on the building castles with sand and how waves then wash it away.
Correct. Yeah.
and then we start building again. So we don't have to give up at any point of life, where, like, the storms would come, but it's always to, as we say, when, like, it's not to, in French it says l'art de vivre et de ne pas attendre que l'orage passe. C'est d'apprendre de danser sous la pluie. C'est-à-dire, it means that we do not have to wait for the storm to get over. It is always to, it's a learning to just learn to dance under this rain. Yeah. So that's my favorite poem. And then another poem, which I would say is, because I'm passionate about French. It's I've written on the heroine of France, which is a Jeanne d'Arc, Joan of Arc in English we say, and her bravery is courage to every woman, that how she faced and was a warrior of France. So I've written on her. So that's my another favorite poem. Well, I all my poems are favorite actually, but and I am
I
sure that people, my readers, would find one poem at least that would, that would resonate to their own experiences.
Mhm. Okay, my next question is somewhat related to the challenges we were talking about. What challenges did you face while compiling this collection?
So my poems that came automatically on the spot in my head, and as I'm, like, passionate about French, it was always a mix of, c'était une mélange de français et d'anglais. It was a mix of English and French with some French expressions that would rhyme and all. So, but when I had to get it published, it had to be in English only. So then I
Okay.
had to rethink on those words, and I wanted to keep it as authentic as it can be, like being in AI world now that we are. It's easy to derive poems and, like, from with the help of AI, but I wanted to keep it as authentic as it should
So
sound.
we can say you have
As
started all over again. You have literally started it.
Yes, in fact. So I had to work on every poem all over again, and so get them published so that every reader, it's understandable to every reader.
Okay. So, Seema, you have also received a prestigious Emily Dickinson Award for your book of poems. How does this recognition, resonate with you?
Uh, well, as I said, that I'm not a writer or an author by trades, but it just made me so with my situations, with my push from here and there. Uh, when I was nominated for Emily Dickinson, I did not know who this lady is because I'm not too much into reading. Also, I would say,
Right. Yeah.
and I love nature, and I just get learn from nature. So then that
Mhm.
forced me to actually get to know more about her, and I felt honored. I really felt honored, like, that she's been a lady who's been into literary, and she has come up with so many poems with, like, uncountable. So and then I felt like reading her poems also, and I did that, and I'm like, I was on cloud nine after that.
Well, congratulations for that.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
so what's next for you as a writer?
Oh, I'm yet to complete my very first book, which is still in the process, and I think and I hope I will get some time to do that. Now that, like, as I say, that people have labeled me an author, which I'm not. So I think, to keep their hopes and, expectations from me, I should complete this book and bring it to you all soon.
Okay, we are eagerly waiting for whatever next you come up with, because writers always have, they keep thinking and they have to keep writing, they always have something to write. So I'm sure you'll come up with many books. We are all waiting for the new books. And my last question of this episode for you would be, if your poetry could leave just one lasting imprint on the hearts of the readers, what would you want it to be?
To be positive, to be positive in life. to always be positive in life. That's the ultimate, and to be happy. Always be happy and positive. With every poem, you will see that it concludes in some happy note, with some positive note to understand and to learn. And that's the essence of life. Things come, everybody encounters the negativity, and but if we do not look at it in a negative manner, there are ways, like, say we say God shuts the door, but he opens multiple windows. We
Yeah,
need to
correct.
see, yeah, we need to see where the light is coming from. So that would be our effort. It's not like multiple windows are open, one door shut, you can escape from any. We have to see where the light's coming from. That is our effort, and continue to make that effort. That's all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this wonderful conversation, Seema. And we look forward to having more conversations with you in the future, with maybe about new books, as we already discussed about it, new books, new stories. But for the meantime, we will have to say goodbye to our audience. But congratulations again for your first book, and all the best for all your upcoming projects.
Thank
And
you so
my
much.
dearest audience, if you want to buy this book, buy this interesting poetry book, about which you now know everything, you will have to find yourself the links that we have attached below. And the book is available online, right, Seema?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
It
we
is
will be.
available both online as a paperback and as a digital form. Yeah.
All right, we will be, giving you all the details below. And if you have any questions regarding the book, please do comment below. And for promotional collaborations, DM us on our Instagram and Facebook page, Boonde Podcast, and email us with your queries at boonde.podcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vishakha. It was lovely. I was honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.